Hey, what's up everybody? Dan here with Total Shape, and in this video I want to tackle a question that I get asked a lot. So it's actually kind of a two-part question, but I'm only going to be tackling one of them in this video. So the question usually comes in some form of the following. So what kind of training split should I choose when I'm going to start my body transformation or my workout routine or weightlifting routine? And also, how often should I train? So the first question, I'm not going to tackle that in this video, but I'm going to tackle the how often should you train question, but I'm going to tackle it from a specific angle because quite frankly, this question, it's highly multifactorial. How many times you should train at the gym, or if you're training at home, whether you have a home gym or just doing, plyometrics and calisthenics, whatever your training system is, how frequently you actually train depends on so many different things. How much time do you have? What are your goals? And so on and so forth. But I'm gonna tackle this, as I said in the beginning of the video, from a specific angle, and strictly this. How often you should train, I personally feel, depends highly on your ability to train intensely or not train intensely. So what do I mean by that? Dorian Yates, who I am a huge fan of, he's one of the best bodybuilders of all time. Obviously people think of bodybuilding, they think of Arnold, the first person that pops in their head. But Dorian Yates is a 6-time Mr. Olympia champion. He's an amazing bodybuilder, and he was very unique in this way. Every other bodybuilder that competed at the level that he did, including Arnold Schwarzenegger, would spend hours in the gym. I'm talking sometimes like 4 to 6 hours of training on a regular basis. And this was the norm. Some of them 6 days a week, some of them probably not even taking a day off, just 7 days full-blown weightlifting. Dorian Yates would literally train 3 times a week for about 45 to 60 minutes each time. Sometimes he would alternate that with 4 days a week, still with the period of training being 45 minutes to 60 minutes. So how was it that this guy was able to put on the muscle mass that he did, develop his amazing Christmas back tree that he was famous for, and beat all his competitors? People talk about steroids, they're all using steroids. So, if the stage is, all factors are even, how did this guy do this, putting in so much less time? Because his training method was extremely intense, plain and simple. There's a process in physiology when it comes to bodybuilding called hypertrophy. And it essentially is just the scientific way of describing you breaking down muscle mass, which then is followed by a recovering and healing of the muscle mass. And when your muscle is healed, it comes back stronger and you have more muscle mass. That's how muscle development, basic essence, very layman's way of explaining it, right? But what Dorian Yates would do is he would destroy his muscles so much. He would create so much hypertrophy because he would train to failure, and he would call it even beyond. So even if he was doing barbell curls and could no longer lift the bar, he would have his training partner lift the bar for him completely, and he would only control the weight down on the negative. That way he was getting maximized muscle strain during the entire workout. If he was training legs, the guy couldn't even walk after the workout. So most people don't have that type of mental fortitude or discipline to train that intensely in a 45-minute period, so they're not going to be able to get those kind of benefits. Most of us, us mere mortals, in the area of self-discipline, we need about 90 minutes, to really get going. Can you get a great workout in 60 minutes? Absolutely. But you're not going to do what Dorian Yates did to his body. So quite frankly, I'm tackling this question specifically from how intensely can you train? If you are just getting into the gym, your ability to push yourself muscularly through pain and through all the lactic acid buildup and fatigue and all that is going to be minimal, and you'll work your way up. So what I would personally recommend if you're new to the gym is starting off with a less intense approach and go more frequently if your time schedule can allow that. So I would rather see you, if you're just starting out on your weightlifting journey, go to the gym or wherever whatever you're going to do for the actual training or exercise. Start with more frequency of training time, but less intensity, because you haven't built up that resilience yet. And then as you build up that resilience, both mentally and you build up the strength physically, you can begin to push yourself even more. And the more you can push yourself, if you're really trying to maximize the ROI on your time, for example, like you're trying to get the absolute best weight training, bodybuilding, or whatever strength, whatever your training method is, if you're trying to get the most bang for your buck time-wise, well, then you can steadily increase your intensity of training a number of different ways. You can increase the weight, increase your repetitions. You can, this is a great way, you can decrease the rest time between sets. So I dare you do bench press, okay? Do 8 reps of a bench press at 80% of your 1 rep max, right? Which is a really good training weight. Rest for 30 seconds and then go back. And the amount of muscle damage you're gonna cause yourself by trying to push even just by rep number 3, whereas most people take 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of rest, and then by the time they go back to the bench press, they're like, okay, it's like they're starting fresh, right? So it's a different type of hypertrophy damage that's being caused cause because of the difference in the intensity of that style of training. Does that make sense? So to summarize this, my friends, the more intense your workout sessions are, the less frequent you have to actually train. But until you develop that fortitude to really push yourself to a great extent in a 45 to 60 minute period, you're better off training for longer periods of time, building up your intensity. Or maybe time will never be a big thing for you. You'll have all the time in the world and you never want to push yourself that much. And 90 minutes to 2 hours in the gym each day, you can afford it and that's what you like. That's fine. That's what I mean when I say it's highly multifactorial. But strictly from an training intensity standpoint is what I wanted to tackle in this video. Hope you enjoyed the video, my friends. Any questions or comments? Any Dorian Yates fans that want to give a shout out, drop them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.